Right. So when we are learning the Guidewire Claim Center, especially from the testing point of view, it's important for us to understand about different scenarios and how this can be answered. In that regard, so I'm giving some examples wherein for different scenarios, like for example, any FNOL claim creation validation, stating that customer has applied a claim request to an insurance company, which normally we call it as FNOL, stands for first notice of loss. Whenever customer has applied for a first notice of loss, there are possibilities which the claim creation has to be validated. From the testing point of view, I'm referring this. Okay. So when we attend for a interview, so whenever we claim that ourselves that we are into Guidewire claim testing professional, so there are questions, some kind of questions that we come across that how do we test the claim creation when any customer has reported for any new claim through an FNWell process. Being a testing person, what is that something that you did, right? So how you are going to how you have done this, right? So how test claim creation has been made by us. So there are different steps that are required as follows. The first of all, as a testing professional, where we must be having understanding over the steps, like because let's say that claim adjuster is the person who is logging in, and whatever the claim that is created, usually claim creations done by the CSR team, customer service representatives will prepare. So whatever the new claim through FNOL screen is created, so based upon the kind of policy number that we have given, we need to select what kind of loss type is that, right? Let's say customer has applied for a commercial auto insurance he has taken, and he has applied for a loss. He's applied for a insurance policy, right? So a claim request for any collision of vehicles also. So either it can be an auto, right? So commercial auto. Selecting a loss type is something that we need to update. Next, we have to mention the loss details also, whatever the loss details, like what was damaged, right? So when it was happened, right? So what is the location, description, everything we must be knowing, including we need to add the claimant information also. These are the initial steps that are to be tested, being a claims testing professional. So these are the test steps first we need to know. So at the time of knowing about these steps, we must be knowing about the validation points. So validation points as follows. The first one, the policy should be auto-populated from the policy center integration. Make sure this policy center integration must be done with the claim center. So this is something that we must ensure. Okay, make sure policy center integrated with claim center to be done by integration developer. So Guidewire integration developers, generally they do that. So when this can be done, when make sure when there is any integration has taken place so that we can see, right? So policy should be auto-populated when claims person wants to see, right? So wants to view that so that they can see based upon the policy number as given, so that they can see, right? So whatever the policy that they have seen, right? So policy can be integrated with claim center, which must be from the integration developer. That is point number one. Second, coverage should be auto map correctly, right? So here, coverages establishment is important. Establishing coverages are required. Okay, establishing coverages are required. That is point number two. Point number three, claims number should be generated automatically, right? So this is always, right? So when there is any claim form that we create, there the claim number has to be created automatically by the system. So instruction has to be given in that regard. So this also to be validated, because based on the claims number, in future that we will verify and validate. So that something is required. Next, auto mapping of coverages should be auto mapped correctly. That is even needed. Next, exposure should be created, should be generated. Exposure should be created based on the loss type. Means whatever the type of loss. Let's say if it's a commercial auto insurance, there is a collision happen. Exposure can be any bodily injury, right? Someone may injured, but may physically they may injured, might be injured in because of the collision happens, right? So this is kind of an exposure which should be created, including any kind of required details, right? So if you want to validate any kind of required details, should also be validated in this regard. Finally, we need to update the error messages, which should be displayed for invalid data, if any, right? So if you found any invalid data and all, error message should be displayed. So these are the validation points from a testing side that we should know. Now, what should be the backend validation? When it comes to the backend validation itself is concerned in that validation of the claim table record is required in the database that we should be validated, because every claim table we have different records will be updated in the database that has to be validated. Next, we should verify the claim status fields, whatever the fields that we have created, that has to be verified as well, validated as well. Next, we need to check the exposure creation in the exposure table, because we create an exposure table by the database team as separate, so that we can check the exposure creation over there. So these are the major things from a Guidewire claims testing professional when we trying to understand about the testing perspective as a being a Guidewire claims testing person. First of all, we must be knowing about the particular scenario, what are the testing steps that are to be taken. Next, what are the validation points that are to be considered, followed by the backend validation as well. So this is one scenario, as I have told you, in context to the FNOL submission has been made by the customer, that has to be, that creation has to be validated. This is what one scenario is all about.